Welcome to Matters of Decorum. I'm Scott Corum, and this is what matters to me. Role-playing games, in general, not in every case, but in general, use numbers as comparatives. Three people have three characters. They eventually want to find out who the character that is strongest is. A role-playing game solves this problem by assigning numbers to a statistic such as strength. Then you look at the character's strengths and can determine which one of them is technically strongest. If you're talking about physical strength. Role-playing games break these down into various different statistics: your strength, your intelligence, your charisma, your agility. All of these things can be given a numeric value. The amount of damage you've done is either a static numeric value or a dynamic value based on random number generation, often in a number of dice. Different weapons doing different amounts of damage, either more dice or a higher number. This is done in the interests of having a quick and easy way to generate comparatives. I need to compare the amount of damage I am doing to the amount of damage the monster can take. If I do more damage than the monster can take damage, the monster is removed from the board. I killed it. Is my number to attack this monster higher than the monster's number to defend itself? If there is a chance that this will fail, a random number is thrown in, usually by rolling a die. You randomly generate a number to determine which comparative value is higher. A higher comparative value means a better chance that a random number will succeed. These are elementary mechanics. And why are they important today? Every group will eventually see a power gamer. Power gamers are a variety of role player. They exist in just about every form of game out there. War games, board games. You have your power gamer. You have your person who has, through one way or another, managed to accumulate the knowledge necessary to build a super character. A character that is numerically superior. That monster can't... I can deal with any monster because my numbers for doing damage to monsters is higher than any monster is going to have damage ability, or the ability to take damage. I can't be hurt by any monsters because there's no monster in the book that has enough comparative strength to do enough damage to my comparative health. And that is a risk when you are using numbers to represent your chances for success or your durability, your ability to do damage. Once you have a comparative, you have a scale. And once you have a scale, you have the top of the scale. Challenge doesn't come from being at the top of the scale. Challenge comes from being in the middle of the scale or lower. You might eventually want to raise yourself on that scale. My strength isn't very high right now, which means that it's challenging for me to do damage to monsters. I need to find other ways to do it. Pick better weapons or learn different techniques, learn skills, come up with ways to add to my damage aside from my native strength. It's challenging. These monsters are all very durable. I don't know if I can beat them. If I do, it's because I used skill or chance was on my side. That's an exciting story to most people, but there are people who just don't want to have that big of a possibility of not succeeding. The higher your numbers, the higher on the scale you are of the comparisons between everyone's numbers, the greater your chance for success. Power gamers like to live at the top of that scale. There's nothing wrong with that. People play role-playing games, or any games, for different reasons. Role-playing games in particular because that's what I'm talking about. They're escapist fantasy. They can let you live out power trips or deal with issues you're trying to cope with. I feel powerless in my everyday life. I'm going to play some kind of uber potent space marine in a world full of fluffy evil kitties that I can just kick right and left. Power gamers become a problem not because they are power gamers or not because there's a problem with power gaming in general. Is that not everyone in a group is going to be a power gamer. If you got a whole group of power gamers, that's fine. And you don't have to write games for entire groups of power gamers. They will spend the entire time comparing their numbers. And you throw something in there that they're going to take more than 2 turns to beat up, and everyone's generally happy. It's a power gamer game. But every so often you get a character or a player in a game where people are trying to have we want a challenge. We want to get in there. We want to play a normal person trying to get by in an abnormal world. And yeah, you guys can do that. I'm going to be over here killing all the monsters before they ever get to you. Because power gamer. What do you do? There are a couple of different directions I've got to deal with power gamers from. Certainly the game master perspective. I game master a lot. As a player, if someone else in the game is a power player, that's fine. I will find my own joy in the game. I've got a set of goals. Sometimes I might power game a little bit myself. High numbers can be fun. But as a game master, when you need to spread attention and spotlight around to a table full of players, and you have one player who has optimized their numbers so that all the attention gets paid to them, that can be an issue. As a game designer, you actually do have to take time, look at your game, and go, yeah, but what happens when the power gamer gets to it? How does a power gamer take this system and pump things up to the point where they're not challenged and they're still looking for a challenge, and then they blame your system because they optimized their character to not be challenged and all the challenges are gone? Again, I'm not saying there's a problem with power gaming or power gamers, in fact, but there are problems with power gamers and power gaming. That emphasizes the game part of role-playing game. This is a game, and power gamers do kind of go into it with the attitude that they're winning, or they're going to win, or they need to win. Whereas personally, I like to emphasize the role-playing in role-playing games. So it's not so much something that everyone's winning, but we're all trying to tell a story. And that story where everyone's trying to struggle against this opposition, and then Fred walks in, mops the floor with it, throws it to the moon, and says, "Where's my fight? I was expecting a challenge." It gets to be a lot less about a group of people trying to overcome struggles and more about everyone really hating Fred. The victory system, the system that I wrote, allows for power gaming. Again, I didn't want to tell someone that their method of playing or what they wanted to do is wrong and just negate it. There are no caps to how much damage you can do or how much damage you can take. And that is because I don't think damage is the worst thing you can do to a player character. I don't think that people ask me as during character generation. Well, I've got this really high damage resistance. Is that okay? Is that going to be all right? Are you going to have to murder everyone else in the party just to try and hurt my character? Like, that's fine. That's fine. I don't mind having a tank for people to hide behind. That's okay. Everyone starts to tank up. It gets to be a little bit of a problem, but nah. Small arms fire, not a threat to you. You don't even roll. That's fine. Just bounces off your chest. And, tank artillery. Oh man, you're going to have to struggle with that. But yeah, you can stand out there, step out of the shower, and take a tank shell to the chest, and it's going to inconvenience you, but you're going to walk away from that just fine. How do you challenge that character? The victory system also introduces the concept of flaws. Well, it doesn't introduce the concept of flaws, but there's flaws in the system. There are ways that you can gain more advantages by taking some disadvantages. You can get more merits by having flaws. There is a flaw with your character. They take special damage from a particular type of attack, or they don't socialize very well. They can't drive. And well, I can take damage all day long, but I just can't handle vehicles. Why is that a problem? Well, you're the person who's got to take the boat out into the middle of the bay to make the rendezvous. Now it's a problem. Can you swim? Oh no, that's another flaw. That's a really good one too. Swims like a brick. So yeah, you can take damage all day long. But what happens when you crash the boat and you can't swim? Sure, you can do as much damage as anyone has ever done in this game, and that's where all of your focus has been. All of your focus has been on, I'm going to do this amount of damage, and I'm going to be able to stand there and just take it. And yeah, well, there's a bunch of frightened children in that hospital that you just hit, and someone needs to go talk to them and calm them down, or it's going to be a public relations nightmare. Well, I've optimized myself for doing damage. That's great. I can't talk to kids. Well, someone's got to. Everyone else is kind of busy fixing the damage. Get in there, sponge. Because the power of the power gamer is not in their ability to overcome the story. The power of the power gamer is generally in their ability to overcome obstacles. You want people to have to deal with obstacles in a role-playing game. That's fine. That's a really good thing to happen. That's how you create stress and tension and dramatic tension. You do your beats. Like, oh, you've got to struggle past this fight. You've got to get past this trap. There's a chase going on. And when it comes to obstacles, power gamers kind of don't have to worry about them that much. Obstacle. I get past that fight. I win the chase. I'm faster than anyone else. It's a trap. Well, I'll just sit there and absorb all the damage, and everyone else can just go past. That's a viable role in a role-playing group, is the person who can just handle that. It doesn't allow them to get away from story. Well, there are people that need to be dealt with. Oh, I can beat up everyone. I didn't say they need to be beat up. And there's a diplomatic approach that has to be taken. You can't just beat up the diplomat and be done. You've got to deal with them. Now, if someone's trying to assassinate them, you need to protect them. Well, where's the assassin? I don't know. That's going to require some investigation. Well, yeah, but who do I hit? I don't know. Who do you hit? Make a roll. I can't roll on that. I got no points in investigation. I hit things. Then it's going to be a challenge, isn't it? Non-combat actions. Non-damaging situations. The environment as your obstacle. You might be able to punch your way out of the middle of an aircraft carrier, but can you find water in a desert? Can you survive a rainstorm on a floodplain? Now, no matter how good you are, You're on an airplane. It's going down. The passengers around you are screaming. The hydraulics are out and the pilots are unconscious. What do you do? I don't mind power gamers because as a game master, I've got an entire universe to drop on top of them. There are no numbers that high in any system. Now, I am completely invulnerable to all damage. I will seal you in dwarf star matter and drop you in a black hole. And yeah, you might be able to get back from that if you're really, really good and figure out some physics. How's your science skill? Ooh, not that good. But by the time you get back from that, we will have finished playing every campaign, and the heat death of the universe will be showing up because of the relativistic speed at which you enter the black hole. Can you work out time travel? Well, you're really tough. You don't want to discourage power gamers too much. They're there to have fun too. Every player is at the table to have fun. Every player is at the table to enjoy an afternoon or an evening of role playing and rolling dice and feeling like they succeeded at something. You know, you get that endorphin rush. I tried to do something and I succeeded, or I tried to do something and I failed, but we managed to pull it out. Succeed or fail, you took the chance and you get the rush, and the power gamer is actually in it for a real hard rush because they have gone there so that they can overcome obstacles on a regular basis. There's nothing wrong with that. You've got movie heroes and literary heroes who just do. Hercules was obviously created by a power gamer. So most Schwarzenegger characters who don't have to struggle too hard. You know what character wasn't made by a power gamer? John McClane from the Die Hard movies. He gets hurt, he struggles, he takes chances. He has to do stupid stuff just to get his advantage. He's got to think his way through problems. That's someone who, you know, I'm just going to roll up a cop. What terrible situation can you put this cop in? Power gamers have been with us from the beginning. Power gamers and power characters have been with us from the beginning of literature. That's where we get our superhero genre from. Superman, total power gamer character. And it falls to the writers to constantly find ways to challenge him, which is not only coming up with, oh, well, there's kryptonite, so he's got a weakness. Oh, no, he's vulnerable to magic. But also, best example of the problems that Superman has as a character. There is a trope. It is one of my favorite tropes. It's called the World of Cardboard speech. It's where a character talks about how difficult it is to have the amount of power that they do in the environment that they are in. The name from the trope comes from an episode of Justice League Unlimited where Superman faces off against a combined Darkseid and Brainiac. The episode is magnificent, but it all comes down to this speech where everyone else has been defeated and Superman steps up, practically cracking his knuckles, and says, "I feel like I live in a world made out of cardboard, where any mistake I make, any time I use all of my strength, something could get broken and people can die. But you can take it, can't you, big guy? What we have here is a unique opportunity for me to go all out and show you exactly how powerful I really am." A power gamer is gaming so they get to their moment of their world of cardboard speech, which is usually followed by a crowning moment of awesome. The power gamer is waiting for that challenge to come up where everyone has done everything they can And the power gamer gets to step up and go, you know what? Everything I have ever done, my entire backstory, every moment that I have been struggling through advancement and saving myself, not going up advancement paths that wouldn't lead me to being better and stronger. I've needed to be strong, and this is the moment I've needed to be strong for, and you, my friend, are standing in my way, and you are boned. I got a little rush just coming up with the speech. You can challenge a power gamer by making their day-to-day existence complicated, difficult, family problems, friend problems, having to socialize, having to wear the glasses and the suit when they want to put on the cape. But you want to see sheer, unadulterated joy. You want to see someone who has been at that table for a while just light up. You give the power gamer what they've been there for. You talked about flaws and character complications. You give them the enemy. You give them, there's someone out there that you have to take down. The person who killed your family, the guy who whacked your dog, the person that made you have to become what you are. And once you have seen what they're made of and given them their own set of obstacles, the other characters might not even have seen obstacles for the power gamer as obstacles to them. Oh yeah, well, we just went and talked to people. We went and did some shopping. I went and maintained all of our guns. All things that maybe the power gamer can do, maybe they can't, but they had to struggle a little bit. You can make a power gamer struggle. And then you hand them their bad guy on a silver platter, holding a hostage on top of a skyscraper with an army of minions around them, and the bad guy looks at him and says, "What are you gonna do?" And then you let the power gamer monologue, and it almost doesn't need to come down to a dice roll, but you roll the dice and you let the fight happen, and you let everyone cheer it on, because this is what you've been waiting for. The problem with power gamers isn't a problem. The problem with power gamers, like so many things that a lot of people see as being a difficulty in a role-playing game, is an opportunity. Is an opportunity to let that character shine. And yeah, the character's going to have a tendency to shine in some situations. Not in all of them. You give them that chance. My character's a pit fighter, and we haven't been in any pit fights. Well, this all comes down to a pit fight at some point in time. Or that path to get there, well, someone's got to get in that pit and fight that thing that no one has ever beaten. And the rest of the party looks around, and everyone looks at the power gamer. And the power gamer says, "I'm a pit fighter," and it's on. You can craft your story and your campaign around everyone at the table, and you should. You absolutely should. Everyone is there for a reason. Everyone is sitting at that table to be a hero, to have the spotlight, so that their character has their character in this story. So it isn't one person's story, and it certainly isn't the game master's story. It is the story of the player characters there, and the power gamer gets his bit too. And when everyone walks away from that game with a story, when 5 years later everyone is talking about what happened that night, when everyone relates how you did this and you did that and I got to hack the computer, which I've been trying to do, and then you picking up the bad guy and body slamming him on that table full of chainsaws, then you win. That's the way you win a role-playing game. You don't win it by beating the bad guys. You don't win it by, the game master doesn't win by beating all the player characters. You don't win by having competed against each other and taking something down. You win by walking away with a story. Power gamers aren't a problem. Power gamers are another avenue towards having that story, they're just another form of a literary character that has been with us forever, and a tool that the game master has to help the story get to a satisfactory conclusion. whether it's humorous or tragic or heroic or dramatic. You have a story. And the characters of the Power Gamers are every bit as much part of that story as anyone else. Well, thank you for following me along on this particular ramble through the problem with Power Gamers. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give me a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. I want to hear about your Power Gamer stories, how they added to or subtracted from a game, what solutions you have for having them in your game, and how that gets handled. I want to hear any of your gaming stories, or if there's anything you want to hear from me, or different subjects you want to hear me talk about, leave me a comment below. I will love getting a comment from you, and you will love leaving me one. If you haven't subscribed to my videos, why not? They're awesome. Hit the subscribe button below. If you do hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification icon next to the subscribe button so you get these videos alerted about them as soon as they come out. If you'd like to help in a more personal manner, I invite you to hit me up on my Patreon page, www.patreon.com/ScottCorum, and consider donating. Absolutely anything helps and allows me to make better videos more often. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'm Scott Corum, this is what has mattered to me, and I will see you next time in the next Matters of DeCorum.